back to the grind. We're back on our MMA tip. Everybody, how is it going? Before we get started, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe bell. Don't be a baby back bagel biting beta male because you know what time it is. Full-time MMA. You got that right, guys. And today we're going to be talking about TJ Dillashaw, the former UFC bantamweight champion, the former EPO steroid snitching Team Alpha Male member, the former TJ Dillashaw, the snake. He came out recently on the MMA Hour. He spoke with Ariel Helwani, and he said that Aljamain Sterling is not a dangerous fighter. And for that, I say, slap yourself, TJ Dillashaw. Are you trying to pump yourself up for this fight here? TJ Dillashaw saying Aljamain Sterling is not a dangerous fighter is an insult to logic. Aljamain Sterling has finished the guy that TJ Dillashaw just fought to a split decision. And oh, by the way, a lot of people feel like TJ Dillashaw lost that split decision to Corey Sandhagen, who Aljamain Sterling left tapping in the first round. How's that for dangerous? What he means to say is Aljamain Sterling is a very smart fighter. And he's not going to go out there and just throw fucking wild haymakers and let you capitalize on a hole from him. He's always on defense. Floyd Mayweather shit. He gets the rap of being a bad fighter, or a not dangerous fighter, or a boring fighter, by popular opinions. There's no truth to it. It's some bully shit. Oh, everybody says Aljamain. It's the same thing with Tyron Woodley and Usman. Weird. Everyone calls these fucking black fighters boring unless they're coming through like Francis Ngannou and just dropping fucking haymakers on people in the first round. Curtis Blades, they can't shake it. Every African-American fighter is eventually labeled as boring. And you guys can say it's whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to say racism. I don't give a fuck what you call it. But they do all got one thing in common, and there's a lot of people that have the same wrestling styles that are not African American, and they get fucking praised. We can look at Khabib. We can look at fucking GSP. They wasn't coming out here just putting on masterful, striking, exciting wars, where they're just, battling it out to the bell, just hitting each other in the face. No, they wasn't just having slugfest. They were wrestling. And they're still revered. And this is the thing. You better believe if any of these fighters that got called boring, Aljamain Sterling, Tyron Woodley, any of these guys, Kamaru Usman, if they were actually completely boring, they probably wouldn't even be in the UFC. Because this is the thing. Tyron Woodley, he got his rep. But with Aljamain Sterling, bro, he's a very smart fighter. He really reminds me of Floyd Mayweather in the sense of he's not going to make a mistake. But he'll still get a finish. That's what's irking my nerves. He'll get a finish. Tyron Woodley put Robbie Lawler's lights out. Tyron Woodley has had some entertaining performances. But one or two bad performances and they call you a boring fighter. Like, you get labeled a boring fighter for the rest of your career. And what that is people really want to see these guys lose. And whenever they fight smart, and that's what they're doing a lot of the time, is they're fucking fighting smart. And they're fighting smart because they don't have the same safety net that a lot of these other athletes and fighters have. They don't have the same network and foundation behind them. So they fight a lot smarter. They learn how to fight in defense. In chess, the white piece moves first. Black piece moves second. Black starts off on defense. You have to learn how to be offensive while being defensive. Take it back to chess. So it's weird how a lot of us black folks have to learn how we start off defensive, bro. Just being a colored person, like, and I'm not trying to get too racial with this shit, but you start off having to dodge certain holes. You don't have that safety net, potholes and shit that traps you can fall into. We was just talking about this mentality on my video that I just dropped talking about the rapper getting shot and killed. Man, we don't grow up with a lot of these same safety nets and foundations. So you have to learn how to be offensive while being defensive. Now, translate that into fighting. And you got a fucking fighter who, at the top of their craft, Aljamain Sterling might be the best bantamweight to ever grace the octagon. If you look at his road to the title, he went on that same Tony Ferguson, Kamaru Usman path, fighting ranked fighter after ranked fighter after ranked fighter after ranked fighter until he finally got a title shot that they did not want to give him. He literally took a tougher road to get to the fucking top. And to still be labeled a boring fighter and nobody's even considering the strength of competition? It's not like he's going in there and just wrestle humping these dudes. Aljamain Sterling is one of the most well-rounded fighters I've ever fucking seen. He uses his striking to set up his wrestling when he's got amazing jiu-jitsu on top of that. Literally, when it comes to mixed martial arts, Aljamain Sterling is a fucking master. He's got finishes. He'll strike with you. He don't even just go to his wrestling. He's got, if you're entertained by jiu-jitsu, he's gonna scratch that itch for you. If you like wrestling, he can scratch that itch for you. And if you like seeing striking, Aljo does it all. He finishes people. But you still got guys coming out and taking advantage of the MMA media's racial bias or the MMA fandom. Hey, you're not racist, you're racially biased. You're a sheep, you follow the crowd, you don't think for yourself half the time. Oh, everybody says Kamaru's boring, he's boring. He ain't. Oh, what? Everyone's saying Aljamain's boring? He's not dangerous? Like, no. Think for your fucking self. A lot of the Aljamain Sterling, man, and it's got nothing to do with me interviewing him. Go listen to my fucking interview. I told him in the interview, regardless what people say, bro, you are one of the best fighters. You might be undefeated, because Marlon Moraes had admitted that knockout was an accident. And if you look at Aljamain's split decisions, they're all very arguable. He easily could have won those. I can go for days about this shit, man. The strength of schedule. Let's look at fucking Khabib's strength of schedule while he's over here getting called some world master, only fought in one weight class, had a padded record for a long fucking time, and then he finally started fighting ranked opponents, inactive as fuck, missed weight all the time, and Khabib can do no wrong to some people. I get it. You got a lot of fans, bro. But where's that energy? That same fucking energy that you guys have when you're calling Kamaru boring, or Woodley boring, or Aljamain boring. Where the fuck is that energy? GSP. Where is that same energy? We can look at strength of schedule. People don't keep the same energy. No one gives a fuck about strength of schedule. And honestly, that's probably why the UFC is doing away. They're inviting all these rookies to the UFC, because the casual fans these days don't give a fuck about strength of schedule. All they want to see is that 0 next to your name. They want you to be undefeated. They don't care if you beat up 15 tomato cans and 3 bottles of applesauce on the way up. You're 18-0. That's all they see. That's all they give a fuck about. So when you got guys like Aljamain Sterling, Tony Ferguson, Kamaru Usman getting ran through the motherfucking meat grinder to get to the top, while some guys like Alex Pereira can come in, get 2 fights, fight for the title. 1 ranked opponent, fight for the title. My boy O'Malley, love him to fucking death. He ain't got no top 5 wins, about to be fighting the number 1 contender. But he's somebody that's actually marketable and made it to that star status to where you understand it. And he's also built up a resume in the UFC. So you can't even use that for O'Malley like you can for a lot of these other people. I remember when Cody Garbrandt was getting skipped up the ranks. So I forgot who he fought right before he fought Takeya Mizugaki. And his claim was, oh, I knocked out Takeya Mizugaki faster than you. He fought someone like lower ranked and then fought for the title. Like, there's a lot of... I always have respected the grind, the strength of schedule. And that's why I've got an affinity to guys like Aljamain Sterling, Kamaru Usman, Tony Ferguson, the people that had to go through a harder road. They didn't have Dana White privilege, as my man Tony Ferguson would say, or Mexican martial arts. Aljamain Sterling does not have Dana White privilege. Speaking of, not a dangerous fighter, is that the fucking EPO talking, dog? I should have went live on this video because I got a lot of shit to say about this topic right here, man. And this is just, I'm about to just cut it and I'm going to go live tomorrow. We're going to talk about a lot of it, but TJ Dillashaw's got some nerve. Like, are you clean, bro? This is the dude that said that, Cody Garbrandt said he's the one that was teaching everybody on Team Alpha Male how to use steroids. So he's been on it. You know what I'm saying? Been on the shit, allegedly. Now he's back. How do you have the same confidence off the juice? He's not a dangerous fighter. Hey, if I was Aljamain, I would want TJ tested before, during, and after this fight. Fuck that. Round 3, bring in somebody from USADA. Test that nigga's blood. I'll wait. I wouldn't trust shit from TJ. Not fighting for my belt, nigga, that I had to go through the grinder to get to. While everybody was making fun of Aljamain and overlooking him and skipping him for the title and all this shit, calling him boring, all this bullshit, saying he got knocked out dabbing. Ha ha, yeah, it's real fucking funny. But now who's the champion? Whoa, talk to me, Aljo. That's who's the champion. So TJ Dillashaw says Aljamain Sterling is not a dangerous fighter, and I say, like I said in the beginning, slap your motherfucking self, TJ, because you, sir, are not a dangerous fighter off the EPO, it looks like. How about that? How about you? Maybe, you know, when people criticize, they say a lot of times when people criticize somebody, they're, what's it called, like self-reflecting. They're projecting their own insecurities. Maybe TJ Dillashaw doesn't feel like such a dangerous fighter now that he's off the juice. He definitely didn't look like as near of a dangerous fighter as he did whenever he fought Sandhagen as he did when he was the champion. That didn't look like the same TJ. So I think TJ might be projecting here. I don't think TJ feels like a dangerous fighter anymore. I think he knows Aljamain Sterling is everything he wished he could be. A natural champion that took the hard fucking road. He's someone that took the hard road. Fighters know strength of schedule. Fighters see the people TJ have been fighting, or that Aljamain Sterling had to fight to get where he's at. He didn't get skipped through the ranks by any means. TJ Dillashaw's path to the title was questionable. He was like the biggest underdog in championship history, if I'm not mistaken, when he fought Henan Barao. He wasn't even supposed to be in that fight. So, when he says Aljo's not a dangerous fighter, man, that shit is laughable. I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree, and most of the people that do, hey, you're not racist, you're probably just racially biased, or you're just a follower, and you just follow what the herd says. If the herd says GSP's the GOAT and Khabib's the GOAT, I'm not saying GSP's not the GOAT, but if the herd says Khabib is the #1 pound for pound at one weight class with the questionable record in the beginning, if the herd says Aljamain's boring, if the herd says Tyron Woodley's boring, whatever the herd says, you guys just parrot. I do a little bit of thinking for myself, so if I offended you with this video, I apologize with this big fat middle finger. Hey, all I can say is I don't agree with TJ Dillashaw. We will see it. UFC 280. Who's the dangerous fighter? Because I'm having a tough time envisioning this TJ Sterling beating Aljamain Sterling. TJ Sterling. I'm having a hard time envisioning TJ Dillashaw getting past Aljamain Sterling. This almost seems like a gimme fight for Aljamain Sterling. If I'm being honest, non-EPO TJ versus the champ that just took out Peter Yan, I don't see it. But with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.